This is the plaintiff, Coleman Sachs. He says he owns a home on Fire Island in New York, rented it to the defendants for 2 weeks last summer, and they up and left after about a week complaining there was no air conditioning. He never told them there was air conditioning in the house, has no idea what their beef's all about, and certainly can't control the weather in the middle of August. He's suing for $3,961.02, the amount he's owed. These are the defendants, Jeffrey and Ivy Levine. They say they've been renting houses on Fire Island for the last 15 years and can't believe the house they rented from the plaintiff came without air conditioning. It was so hot, their dog had to be rushed to the vet with hot spots, shaved bald, and they had no other choice but to pick up and go somewhere else. In fact, they're the ones who were owed money. They're accused of pulling out too soon. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $3,171 for the remainder of their stay, vet bills, and security.
Litigants have been sworn.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you, Douglas. Coleman Sachs and Shanna Faye Weiss?
Yes.
Okay. Sure. You are suing Jeffrey and Ivy Levine?
Yes.
Levine. And what's the dog's name?
Butch.
Butch for $3,961.02 that you say you are owed on a house rental in Fire Island. You are counterclaiming against them $3,171 in damages that you say are owed to you as a result of your dissatisfaction with the house. All right, talk to me. Tell me what happened, and then we'll hear about your complaint.
Of course, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. The house has been in my family since 1947. It was originally built for an aunt of mine who occupied it.
Butch doesn't like that.
Occupied
Wrong answer.
Go ahead.
without air conditioning for 47 years until she passed away in 1994. The house was left to me. And my wife and I then embarked on having the house fixed up for rental purposes and for our use and ultimately our retirement.
So you rent it out.
Right.
And you ended up renting it out to them. You rented through a realtor?
We did.
Do you have the agreement, the rental agreement?
Yes, I did.
May I see it?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. You want to have a seat?
It's going to be a long case for you. If you're going to stand there holding that massive thing, you want to have a seat or something?
I think he's going to be good, and then I'm going to put him down.
You don't think what?
I think he's going to be good, and I put him
down. Okay. So the terms of the agreement are that it's going to be for 2 weeks in August, from July 31st to August 13th. And it's $5,000 a week. There's a $1,500 security deposit, and utility charges will be deducted from the security.
Right. As well as cleaning expenses. And
well, it says the tenant is responsible for a final cleaning at the termination of lease period. I would think that that means I could clean it up myself.
well,
right?
normally it's taken out of the security deposit.
What's taken out of it? If I leave the place spick and span, you can't take another penny out, right? The way you, if you mean we'll pay an X cleaning fee, you should say it. I guess that's what I'm telling you for the future. All right. In any event, what happened here?
Under the terms of the lease, they were to provide a $5,000 check upon signing the lease, which was in April. They provided the check. The arrangement was for them to bring the second rental check, $5,000 plus the security deposit of $1,500 with them to hand it to the rental agent on July 31st when they would assume occupancy.
And did they do that?
They did that. The rental agent mailed me the check. I deposited it in our account in our home bank.
Was the $5,000 check canceled?
The check,
payment?
Ultimately, I was notified by the bank that the payment had been stopped on that
What
check.
about the $1,500?
The $1,500 was not, payment was not stopped on that.
Okay, so you were able to cash that.
Right.
All right, now what went wrong? Did you get word from your realtor that they were complaining about something?
The realtor notified me on Friday. They had moved in on the 31st, whatever day of the week that is. I'll defer to them. But on the Friday of that week, he notified me that they had moved out.
Okay.
My first notion of what the problem was when I received a letter in the mail from Mr. Levine telling me that I had breached the covenant of quiet enjoyment and he is constructively evicted from the premises. He's left, the payment for the first week, but he expects me to return the security deposit. I then found out from the realtor that they had found other premises through another realtor in town.
Okay. May I see the letter that he sent you?
Yes.
What's going on? What was the problem?
I've been there for 15 years. I know the island very well.
In fact, you met your husband there.
I did.
Okay.
I did. So.
Are you making out with the dog? What are you doing?
I'm trying to be respectful.
It's very distracting. I'm trying to get the facts here, pal. Okay, go ahead.
I'm trying to be respectful to the court.
Okay, I know you're trying to keep the dog nice and quiet, so a man's got to do what a man's got to do. All right, go ahead.
We know the island well. We know we've rented before. We've rented through this agent before. So in the middle of the winter, we knew it would be enough time to find a house that we were looking for. So we wanted to give ourselves plenty of time. Called him in January, set up an appointment for February, saying, here's where we are this year. Finally, we would like to up it. We've done a house or two, this street, that street. We'd like a better quality house. We're really going to treat ourselves this year. Here's what we're looking for. We go out in February. We bring our dog and our son, and we walk into the office and say, here, we want everything. We look at 4 houses. One of them is the house here. And
when you go look at the house, it's under construction.
It is under construction.
Under renovation. Okay, what is being renovated?
So at the point that we go look in February, there's still paint, there's still debris, there is, the broker says to us, they're doing everything. There happens to be a plasma TV on the ground. They're doing everything. They're even doing plasmas. Nobody in Fire Island has plasmas. You can see they're not missing a trick here. So we said, okay, great. We're going to go with that house. Great. So we walk in July 31st. His agent takes us into the home to meet us to open the door for us. First words out of our mouth are,
Go ahead.
where's the air conditioning? And he says, there's no air. Fire Island houses don't have air.
Why were those the first words out of your mouth?
Because it was sweltering.
Why weren't those the first words out of your mouth in February when you physically went on with your own eyeballs and saw the house?
Because in the middle of February under construction, when I say to somebody I want fully renovated, I didn't look at washing machines and dryers and hot waters and
Why not? If those things are important to you...
I mean, I'm looking, but I am trying to quickly take as much notes.
I guess what my concern is that air conditioning is not something that's a hidden defect. There are either vents because there's central air, or there's wall units because there's air.
Right.
And if it's something that's important to you, why is that not something that you bring up?
I think it was
It just
at
didn't
the
come
top
up,
of
I
our
think.
list, actually. Because
If it was at the top of your list, why wouldn't you say it?
Because when I say to the agent who I know pretty well, who has known the houses I've been in years past, and said, oh, we want everything, I assume that we're talking the same language.
So it's on the top of your list, but you never mention it.
Everything to me means everything in Fire Island, right? I didn't break it down.
When you say everything in Fire Island, how many houses in Fire Island have air conditioning?
I don't know the answer to that. I mean, it's funny.
His realtor provides an affidavit saying less than 15% have air.
Absolutely not accurate. I can't swear to it. I don't work there, but that's not accurate.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the distinction is the quality of home that we were looking at. I think that you can't take 15% as an absolute in Fire Island. I think that we brought comps here and we submitted them to your honor, that the quality of home, all newly renovated homes and new homes have central air or air conditioning. So when we looked at a certain level, we're talking $5,000 a week. That's what we're talking about.
All right. I think that the problem here is that you go see it in February, everything's fine until it's not fine. You go in and it's sweltering. You tell the realtor, where's the AC? And the realtor says there is none.
Their agent said, there's ceiling fans. It'll cool down. The house has been closed up. Give it a day. We were trying to be reasonable. The truth is, when you walk to the front of the house, the day we got there, I have photographs. The front of the house, the back of the house, if I can give you these pictures, none of the property was cut. There were bugs swarming all over. And you get to Fire Island, it's a vacation. I bring my mother, I bring my son. I'm trying to relax. I'm not here to run around. I want to relax. I want to enjoy myself. I have a 60-something-year-old mom with me. I have my son, my 2 dogs. I don't want to start running around. I paid a lot of money. I just want to enjoy my week.
This is a picture of what?
That's the front of the house.
Not cut.
Hasn't been touched. There's swarms of bugs all over. If you see me outside trying to enjoy a meal, I am covered head to toe because the property hadn't been touched. And there was no dining room table, so there was 3 chairs.
Well, that you know when you rent the place.
Exactly, so I was trying to just go with it.
What's the deal with the really high grass out here?
We hadn't engaged anyone to cut it down. We were told,
What do you think happens to grass that you don't mow? I mean...
Well, on these properties, a lot of the lots allow everything to grow.
And now, so you're complaining about bugs, but let me see the letter that your husband writes and see if it mentions bugs. This is to notify you that I terminated our lease and my family and I moved out of the house. You have breached a covenant of quiet enjoyment and constructively evicted us by not providing air conditioning to the summer home. I have paid for the week, and we remained in the premises, the week that we remained in the premises, left them in the condition that were delivered to me, so I expect full security. There's not one mention about bugs. All right. Now, you move in there, and Does it cool off in a couple of days?
No. In fact, it does not. So much so that Butch, my dog, we take him, he's a bulldog. He can't tolerate heat. I have a letter from my vet. It was so hot that he had a little bit of moisture from playing outside. We took him for a walk. Because there was no air conditioning and the house wasn't cooling, he couldn't dry properly. Because he couldn't dry properly, he wound up getting an entire sores covered in around his neck and on his, I have a picture of it also, on his torso because there was no cooling in the house. So he wound up developing hot spots. I found a vet on the island, saw Butch and decided, oh, absolutely hot spots. We in fact need to shave him. Butch at this point needs to get his entire neck shaved and pieces, which you'll see, of his torso shaved. I now have vet bills that I've incurred. The next night,
which you're suing for in your counterclaim.
I am. The next night, Butch, again, not able to cool down. I call my vet at home again, and he says he's having heat stroke. I now need to sit up with him for 2 straight nights, hand on a bed, and it's one of those vacations you will never forget, with ice chips, literally just holding it, trying to cool him down so he will not forget it.
So you end up deciding, I can't take it, I'm moving, and you end up moving. You go to the next place, and you stop payment. Out of curiosity, why did you only stop payment on the $5,000 check and not on the deposit?
Because the security deposit is clearly for us leaving the house, and until we got approval that we left the house in the right condition, we were being fair. We left the money that we stayed for the week, and we left the security deposit till we got approval. And I have some emails to the agent saying, please clear that we've left it, and we have pictures from that date of exactly how we left the house, and it's probably better than he left it to us.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Is this woman entitled to get her security deposit back? What do you think?
Yeah, I think she should get it back.
Why?
Well, she saw the place in February. It was cold, but the guy didn't tell her there was no AC or anything. I guess
but that's the issue. Is it his duty to tell her, or is it her duty to ask?
She should have asked.
Even though it's snowing and she... What?
He should have told her.
Why
because,
should he?
Because Long Island is a hot place anyway, surely, and it should have air conditioning anyway.
But she didn't ask.
She should have.
Okay, we'll find out. We'll go inside the courtroom.
Do you have an affidavit from your agent? Let me see your affidavit from your agent. I need to see the original. Hold on one second, please. When I inspected the property after Jeffrey and Ivy left, I noticed that they had left the house in generally messy condition. Are there any pictures of the generally messy condition? Because she's got tons of pictures of what I do not consider to be generally messy. The rental agent says it was in generally messy condition. But your rental agent doesn't photograph, which is how this is done. You document the generally messy condition. Your rental agent doesn't do that. I'm just supposed to trust him that it's generally messy condition. Meanwhile, she's got like 2 inches of photographs showing that it's spick and span. Does that sound to you like somebody who left it in generally messy condition? Because it doesn't sound to me. So I'm not going to allow you to deduct the cleaning fee. Part of your tenancy is that the utility fees will come out of it. Do you have the utilities for that first week?
Yes.
Let me see that. All right, and then now, while you're showing me that, we get to the nitty-gritty. The nitty-gritty here is this. Do you have a right to expect that this house will have air conditioning? Okay. On your side, there is as follows. The nicer houses, Judge, all have them. I said I want everything. But on their side is as follows. Air conditioning is not something you hide. It is a visible concept that's standing right there for you to look at. All you have to do is look and see. The newer houses, by the way, what they have is central AC, right? All you need to do is look for vents. If it didn't occur to either one of you to look for vents, how's that on them? They didn't hide anything from you. If it didn't occur to you to insist on a house that had air conditioning, because if you had, do you think the realtor would have shown you this house? I do not find that you are right. So, I find that you are responsible for the second week. Your contract calls for you paying utilities, all right? And as I look through the evidence, I find that you owe $100 in utilities. I'm taking the $100 away from the $1,500. So what do we have? We have then $1,400 of your security deposit, which is going to be applied to the $5,000 fee that I find that they are right on and you are not right on for the reasons I previously discussed. Therefore, I find in favor of the plaintiffs in the net judgment in the amount of $3,600. For the reasons that I've already gone over with you on your counterclaim against them, I am not going to order them to pay you lost vacation days or vet bills or the return of the security deposit. Okay? Good luck, folks, and lots of good health in Fire Island.
Thank you.
Well, let's see what the defendants have to say coming out here, and maybe I should get this one to do the talking because
Maybe.
you've talked enough.
I didn't do well. Maybe Butch.
Yeah, all
will say
right, all
something
right.
better.
Step on in here. Well, how come you didn't know there was air conditioning in there? Come on. It's Fire Island. Does everyone act like this on Fire Island?
I think actually he's taking advantage of the system, and I think he cut corners. And I think when you renovate a house, you're supposed to do it the right way, and that's what the agent said, represented that he would do. And I think when we walked in there in the winter, it wasn't done enough to notice that. And you know, I wish the judge would have ruled in our favor as a deterrent for future landlords to do that.
All right. Get this guy a lint remover, will you? All right. Head right around the corner over there.
you.
All right. So long. All right. Step on in here. How come you didn't tell them there wasn't air conditioning in there in August in Fire Island? Come on.
We had no idea that'd be an issue. There's never been air conditioning in the house. It's been in existence since 1947. We've spent many in August there ourselves. If it gets hot, you open the windows. There are window fans. In this case, we had ceiling units. You know, it's a place where air conditioning is not needed.
Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, you know, you have a duty, a legal duty, to ask questions, especially if you're doing a walkthrough about things in an apartment you're renting or a house or whatever that would be relevant once you move in. That will do it for this case. Litigants, for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.